Listen to this quick clip about Palantir Technologies and what happened today.
Palantir, let's check out that one. Shares sliding as William Blair analysts note potential downside risks for the company. Concerns arising after a presentation given by U.S. Army officials alludes to a data ownership conflict with Palantir. So this one, I mean, first of all, just to put that slide in context, I mean, this one has been a true winner this year. I mean, investors have piled into this one as they think it's a way to play the AI theme. Stocks up something like 180%. But we
All right, pause it right there. Exactly what we do have is Palantir Technologies falls about 10% on the day. And what we see is kind of a tumble. And at the market opening, we see a large sell-off of Palantir due to fears from a analyst that is taking a bearish perspective on a future contract renewal for Palantir, and that's causing a lot of fear in the market. We're going to be talking about this and also what the global market impact has had, not just in terms of AI stocks and Palantir specifically, but in terms of the general economy. Now, of course, before we get too far, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just collecting the data and dispatching it to you. Now, let's pop it up on the screen here, talk about this little bit of a slide that we did see for Palantir. As you can see right during that market open, you see Palantir, this large red wick candle bar really being printed right here, breaking the support zone at this 19 that we've seen, and now could likely test in tomorrow's trading session if this cascade continues and we see this profit taking cascade event continuing to capitulate. You could see Palantir testing the support here at 18. That is entirely possible, as we're down about 10%, including the after hours right now at 1840. Trading volume very high. However, we're seeing a lot of selling pressure in terms of vice versa. What we have been seeing is buying confidence. What we see is a lot of profit taking and a lot of fear that I think was overcoming, and a lot of emotion coming into Palantir Technologies as we have trading trading volumes up over 100 million at 104 million to be exact. We see the market cap come down here to 40 billion. Now, a lot of people wondering why did this happen today as we go more into the in-depth of what actually has occurred with Palantir Technologies, and that is a bearish analyst on Palantir stock raised questions over an Army contract renewal. Specifically right here, this is from investors.com, saying that William Blair, an analyst, rated PLTR stock as underperformed, publishing a note published on Friday speculating on the future of the 4-year $458 million Army contract, which is set to expire. Now, what he does is that he cited in a U.S. Army presentation last week, basically wrote that there is a strong indication that the renewal for this contract in 2 weeks will be significantly less than the original $458 million worth of valuation in terms of the contract. And he says right here that the Army might offer a new 2-year renewal for $116 million, with Palantir's revenue reduced by additional vendors sharing the deal. Now, this brought a lot of fear, of course, into the market, because you're seeing other types of companies that are competing against Palantir now, and you're seeing, hey, a large reduction going to 116 million from a possibly 458 million right here. People freaking out saying, oh, we're going to see decreases in revenue metrics. And of course, one of the biggest criticisms that we've seen from Palantir is a decrease in the actual revenue growth rate versus, or basically in line with, its high valuation, which is in the 70s right now, according to the forward price to earnings ratio. Now, with that being said, we have to remember that Palantir stock, government agencies are some of its biggest customers. So it's important that these contracts, yes, do have a high valuation. However, Palantir is doing a great job right now actually diversifying, and I think this is protecting it from future slides like this due to just simple analysts that are basically giving their opinion on what the next contracts with these governments could basically entail. Now, with that diversification with the AIP bootcamp, this is bringing more commercial revenue to the table and helping to actually, honestly, capitalize Palantir Technologies and their software on more of an industrial standard rather than just a contractual single sector with the government. Getting tied in and diversifying with multi-different sectors can protect it against these large, big changes in price fluctuations, as you don't have all your revenue dependent on a single sector. Now, talking about that, on top of that, we also have with Palantir, we have the morning session and the whole general market kind of pulled back. And in terms of that, we actually do have, in terms of the global markets, the S&P, the Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ all down about nearly 1% on the day. As we saw these stocks pull back, we saw yields rose, actually leading to a large bond sell-off. And remember, the S&P 500 reached a new high for the year in the final week of November 2023. And when the NASDAQ surging, with the S&P that's also gaining 20% with a month remaining in the year, people are asking, are investors kind of getting ahead of itself? As we saw this November rally that literally had a exponential amount of buying confidence coming into the market. We saw this with the global markets and even with Palantir up over 30% on the year. Now, we have seen the Federal Reserve, of course, raising those interest rates, and we've seen an effect and a positive effect in terms of an outcome as inflation has been cooling. However, are they taking an overbet that the Federal Reserve will definitely actually stabilize the rates or even cut them? There's beginning to get to a point of uncertainty that hopefully the market is not getting too far ahead of itself. And what we're seeing with that is Palantir, specifically with its high valuation and with its decelerated growth rate, in terms of this, the fact that you have one analyst that can come out here and say, hey, I think this could come down and I rate it and underperform, causes a 9% drop in Palantir, shows you the volatility, number one, behind the stock, and that we've always been talking about, that Palantir is very volatile right now due to its high valuation and also due to the trendiness behind the AI industry. However, if people are looking on the long-term growth perspective and not just on the short-term growth potential here for Palantir, this could cause more attractive buying prices and get you more into those attractive zones for people that are looking in terms of the long-term growth perspective, that are looking to get in at under 20. Hey, now is possibly an opportunity, because when others are fearful, that's when people tend to make a great return, when they are greedy, and vice versa in terms of that perspective. Now, talking about that, and specifically in terms of Palantir and people that are still taking a big bet on them, are some of these large investors right here. Number one here, Vanguard. It's important to remember that they own 187 million shares, and they acquired 18.75 million shares here during quarter 3. We also have large companies like BlackRock, you got Renaissance Technologies, State Street, that all own over to nearly 10 to 100 million shares of Palantir Technologies, a lot of them acquiring even more during Q3 when we saw those revenue metrics that really dominated those expectations. So could this just be a short-term trend? Could we see Palantir testing the support level right here? Or if we don't test that support level and Palantir continues to drop, if there for some reason becomes more bearish news or media articles that are released, we could see Palantir come back into its consolidation zone that it does like to trade at. And that is literally here between the 14s and the 16s. Palantir is comfortable in this position. Recently tested this out at set a new 52-week high, which is great, which shows that it can beat its resistance at the $20. However, with the market getting possibly too far ahead of itself, we might need to wait for more confirmatory statements from the Feds talking about, is there going to be a definite stabilization of rates or an actual cut of those rates. So lots of exciting things ahead for itself. I think Palantir right here, people that are really getting too far, don't get too emotional on this. This is just a single day. We got to remember that Palantir Technologies is up over 200% basically in the year. You have it up over 30% in the month. So lots of volatility behind the stock. I think a 9% slide right here does help keep Palantir in check, and all, to be honest. Not things are just going to keep going up and up and up. Corrections will happen within the market. We're seeing that with Palantir right now. Will this $18 level of support hold? Will it fall, or will we see a reversal? Only time will tell. Nobody knows the true answer. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Take care. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.